Drest trotted away from the hut and into the woods, her jeweled dagger now drawn. It made her feel strong, though a sword at her hip would have made her feel better. Once she was deep among the trees, she listened, then went on. She brushed past leafy branches over mossy stones, as silent as the mist that shrouded the night around her. Each time she'd heard Mordog's call for the past week, an enemy had been near. A bandit on the dusty road, a knight with his sword raised in a castle chamber, an army of castle men streaming into the woods after her family. The crow called again, a lingering note of warning. It was louder now, and close. Drest shivered in her thin tunic with its ripped-off sleeves. The night was cold and damp. All around her, the trees formed monstrous shapes, their branches weaving above her head to block out the sky. And there she was, sleep pulling at her consciousness like a stone in a net, alone in the woods. Alone, yet not alone. Her father and brothers were resting at the mill, ready to leap to their feet with their weapons. But they didn't have their weapons, she remembered. All their swords had been broken or taken from them when they'd been captured at their headland home. Her family had hung from iron rings in Faintree Castle's prison for 5 days. The only weapons they would have would be the ones they'd stolen during their escape. "Nay, but our hands are our greatest weapons yet," said a rumbling, deep voice in her mind, her eldest brother, Wulfric. She had long imagined her brothers' voices when she had been alone before. Wulfric's voice softened the edge from her fear. "Perhaps we've all heard Mordog as well," came her favourite brother Gobin's voice, a smile in his words. "You know what that means, do you not, lass?" "We'll be prowling," said his twin, Nutkin, "the terror of the woods." Drest shook her head. They had never been prowling in real life when she'd imagined their voices like that, which meant that she was still alone. "The best you can hope for is your lad, Tig." The voice of Thorkill, her second eldest brother, was thoughtful and calm. "He's heard his crow, and he'll come out to see what she's calling about." "The best you can hope for is to dig up your own courage wherever you've buried it, you mewing squirrel-brained fish-gut," sneered the voice of Ewan, her youngest brother. Drest searched the trunks around her for the twins' black-haired phantom shapes, or the towering figures of Wulfric or Thorkill, or Ewan's smaller one. But there was no sign of them. Nor of Grimble, her father, the mad wolf of the north, who would have ordered her to wait for the warband and not go out alone. "I may be alone, but I'm not frightened," Drest thought. "I've seen my family captured by enemies, been under a bandit's knife, and hung from a ring in a dark and horrible prison. These are only woods." Another call from Mordog, harsh and desolate, from the other side of the village. Near the mill, where all of Drest's family were sleeping. Drest broke into a run, her pace long and swift, toward the faded echo of the call. She emerged into the hayfield at the top of the village, a sea of murky green in the dark. Stalks whispered beneath her feet as she skirted the edge. Soon she was at the town square by the mill. That squat building with its wheel on the stream was but a deeper shadow in the night. Silence, not even wind. Yet Mordog had called from the mill. The crow had never been wrong before. Something was surely out there. Drest started to cross the dusty square, her eyes on the mill. Nothing was moving. The shadows were heavy. Halfway there, Drest shot a glance down the grassy path that led to the villagers' huts. She froze. In the centre of the path stood a knight. Even in the dark, his chainmail hood seemed to glimmer as he turned toward her.